in Judo, Sambo, no matter what the fighting sport it is, you want to not just fool your opponent, you want to fool a referee. You know, you want to make it look good. And what we're going to do now is another variation of getting Juji Gatame from a Tomoe Nage situation. We're going to do Yoko Tomoe Nage, or side or spinning Tomoe Nage. Some people call it Toby Tomoe Nage. And what it is basically we're going to show two ways. One, put the foot on the hip, the other one you throw them by. And we're going to do that. And Derek's quite good at this. He's won a number of matches with this. So we're going to have him do a lot of co-coaching with me here. So go ahead and tie up first. And I remember what Anne Maria was showing you, she was having it, we're going to be working again a strong angle, but kind of come here. So remember, she pushed on the inside here, but what we're going to do, we're actually going to come and do a spin under him. Like everybody would think, and you might even catch him with a Tomoe Nage, you know. But watch him do it. Do one, and then just look down there. Go right there and catch it, okay? So what we do, we start from a strong angle. Now the angle is, you know, I would say you start right to finish right. Okay, that's just an old phrase I've always used. Watch what Derek does here. He's in relation to Jake here. He's going to move off to Jake's right, because that's the side he's going to attack. He dropped her hand here so everybody can see. Look what he's doing here with the arm. See, he's trapped the arm. He's grabbed inside the jacket. Now, if he had no gi, he's just meat hooking, okay? And what he's doing is pulling it down and just kind of controlling. And, you know, he's kind of showing this successfully. He's just trapping it as he does it. So notice the angle he's trapping. That's the key thing. There are three elements in every arm lock, in Juji Gatame especially. You want to control your opponent, number one. You want to trap his arm, number two. Number three, you want to lever it. You want to stretch it out or crank it. So he's going to do all three things here in this particular move, obviously.
I prefer what we call the hug grip, which is where your forearm is across and you hug the forearm to straighten out. And I found that if I can grab right there, number one, when I come back down on the ground, it naturally transitions right into that hug grip. And number two, when I grab on the inside, most judo guys go, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's grabbing in the wrong spot, which is fine by me. Whereas if I grab like this, they're like, oh, he's going to try one of those arm locks on me. So I usually try and, if I'm going to do something like this, I give him an innocuous, you know, look.
So we're starting the trap. We're trying to fool this guy, is what he's telling you. Okay,
and you look dumb.
Yeah, and also notice the angle of the body. Okay, so Derek is now to the side. The reason is he's going to need room to swing under, put his foot up here on Jake's hip. You'll see this in a moment when he does it. Feel free to talk anytime you want.
So this is also, number one, it aids the path of my head down to close to his ankle. So we usually tell you guys to try and touch your ear on the ankle. It hardly ever happens. I think maybe one time I've actually hit the guy's ankle and then he just flipped over really spectacularly, so it made the hurt ear worth it. But the other thing too is that when we're up here like this, a lot of people have issues getting their hip up that high without straightening the leg out. So if you're over here on this edge, you can put your foot up fairly easily there.
And that's kind of a pivot point, actually. You'll see what he does here. So go ahead and go through it. Spin under. And now it's a spinning Juji Gatame, but we're starting standing, okay? Now notice in this particular case, and once you get good at it, we're going to go a little second level where you don't use the foot as an anchor point, but he did that particular time. Do that one more time, and I'll talk about finishing. But watch, like Derek said, he wants to put his ear down here on Jake's left ankle. So he's got to give himself room. Now watch, he puts the foot in. Now his knee is bent. It's slightly flexed. The foot is here. Now what he's going to do, he's going to spin all the way under. Remember, stay round. Go right up in front of him this way.
Okay.
Good?
Don't straighten your leg until your back hits. If you straighten the leg on the way down, you end up about here. Okay, so my grips are real far behind me. He isn't down far enough. I'm not sitting on my butt. So all of these things mean I am not going to get the juji when I stick my foot over. Now, if we were doing it how Maria was doing it with where we're on our butt, now I'm much closer. Like I can whack him with my head. That's usually a good sign that you can kick your foot over and get him. If I'm back out here and pushed way, way back here, I can't whack him with my head. I can barely touch him with my hand. There's no way that this foot is going to get behind his head with enough control to finish. So don't straighten that leg. Keep it bent and swing underneath it and try and get that ear right through here. Okay, and that way, okay, when we're right about here, this is the perfect entry for it. We're about 90 degrees, his head's down, I just step right over.
At this point, see how he hooked the leg over? It's almost like doing an osotogari on his head.
Yeah.
Okay? You want to hook it and trap his head too. And that helps bend him over more and helps him roll onto his back. Can you do that one more time? Watch how, in this case, watch how the leg comes over the head.
So right through here, I've got my grips, I've bent him over, and because I'm 90 degrees or perpendicular to him, this isn't a bendy thing in my hips anymore. It's a step over, clamp, and sit up.
Okay, now let's finish. Always finish on your butt. Don't finish laying down, because he wants his hips as close to his shoulder as possible. So look at the trap. He's got his arm totally trapped. Anne Maria calls it collecting his arm. Same thing. Okay, but notice controlling the head, controlling across the body. He's got what we call a leg press position. He's pressing him down with his legs. Now, like he said before, he likes to trap, he likes to hug. Now his arm is totally hooked onto Derek's body, the torso. It's not a matter of who's stronger now, it's a matter of body weight. And he rolls back, finishes the arm, stretches the arm with the Juji Gatame, levers it out against the pubic bone, which is the axis there. One more time and we'll let you guys practice. It is not that hard. It is really very effective. We good?
Are you changing your grip before you step?
So,
Step grip.
nope.
Watch.
If I'm like this and I know I'm going for it, I get that grip
Gotcha.
first. My
Okay.
hands have to control what I'm going after.
Okay.
And I found that if I do this move from a standard grip, I might get it, but now I have to take that extra step to grab it. So in between, he's grabbing his hands down nice and tight. And I know how we practice 16 gazillion different grip breaks in here, so everybody knows it, but that's extra work that I have to do. I would rather it be like, I already had the arm and he's strong enough and good enough to get his arm down, and then I'm like, okay, respect, now I have to break your arm free. Instead of, crap, I should have grabbed that arm from the beginning and now I have to do extra work.
Another thing, Scott, get up again there. Jake, good. A lot of times I've seen him do this, I've seen other guys who are really good at this move do too. As he's setting this arm up here, an advanced guy, he's going to say, oh, he wants to trap that arm. So I'm going to angle out maybe a little bit, which gives him a little more room to, he will maybe step sideways, which, look at that, he just like walked right into it.
Yeah.
So it is a really good way to lure a guy into this setup.
Okay.
And it's quite effective, it really is.
Start with your grips, and then if you still prefer to go with the wrist grip, go for it. Like, if I'm through here, grab that wrist, and then start moving. You know, but the important thing is that should be, you know, Anne Marie did the same exact thing. When she was ready to sit down, you know, she had that wrist already. You don't wait till the very end to grab it. You know that's the end point, right? So if you don't have a hold of it, why try and go down to the ground, hoping you get a hold of it?
Try to have your eggs in a basket for you. We good? Let's give it a try. Let's shave off the rough edges here, huh? So one of the rough edges is this, some people are having trouble dipping the shoulder and getting under. Another thing is when they're starting from the side, that you end up squared up again. Don't do that. So stay off the side. So as he sets him up, now Derek stays there. That's where Derek's going to park himself. What he's going to do, as he puts his foot up here, watch his shoulder and head, he gets rounded.
Yeah. So it's almost like I'm going to try and roll. I tuck my head and I lead with the shoulder. Don't think about it as trying to land your back. Just try and think about it as swing under and lead that shoulder and you'll land right there. If you think about landing on your back, you land right there. And when I land right there, it's doable, but you have to either hip up and catch him, or you have to be bendier in your hips in order to get your leg around.
So I say stay around, because Derek, like you said earlier, wants to get as close as he can to Jake's left leg here, this left ankle.
So that foot comes up, and I'm going to tuck my head and lead with my shoulder. And you'll see that even sometimes there's a little teeny tiny bit of a twist at the end too. I'm not doing that, because I'm up like this, my shoulder blade catches, and the rest of my momentum of coming under moves me another couple of inches to get it. If I'm straight like this and square shoulders, where I land is where I stay.
One more time slow, sir.
Okay. Out to the side, foot up, tuck in. 90 degrees, okay? I'll show you without tucking. And it's a little bit hard to see the difference at first because it's really just what I'm doing with my head and my lead shoulder. But put my foot up, my shoulders are square, my head's up, I try and tuck in, and I land here again.
See the space?
Now, I can still get it from here. I've knocked it down a little bit. I can touch his head so I know I can get it with my leg. But I have to be bendier in this hip, or I got to hip up to get hip up, catch, and then get it. So there's ways around it, but again, why waste the effort? You know, just practice doing it 110% correct, and then when you screw it up, you're down to about 80, and that's still good enough.
We'll finish with showing how you did it, because we want to show you the right way to do it.
So again, that's the inside, off to the side, foot up, tuck, under. Okay?
Sir.
All right, let's get that.
So the important part to remember here is that normally we're putting the foot up. So the only difference between the one we're about to do with the throw by and the one that we did before with planting the foot is literally just what your foot does. I like this one better because when Steve first taught it to me, I still had the bad habit of straightening my plant leg. So I would push the guy out too much and then I would get into trouble because he was too far away to finish. So I started throwing my leg up a little bit more, and I noticed that was faster and it allowed me to get way deeper underneath the guy. And that kind of helped me move back into the plant version. So if you're having a lot of problems with the plant version, this might be a good one to try and then kind of work your way back. Once you're really comfortable with the throw by, you'll see the mechanics and how to get back to the other one. Or you just continue doing it.
Do it once, they get to see it, and then we'll talk through it.
So as I come through here, foot comes up in the hip and you swing over. Now, it was a little quick, so you might have missed that. As I come through, the back of my heel comes up into the hip. So it has the benefit of, as soon as that foot's up, I can swing right under. It's not pulling guard, it's swinging underneath him, and my legs never close around his waist. Okay, so it's still technically a Yoko Tomoe Nage variation. Right? So over to the side, heel comes up into the hip, slide under, and here we go. So you're cutting out the step of having to firmly plant into his hip by just putting your foot up there. And you're also cutting out the step of having to push your waist leg straight through. It's already through. So that's kind of like cutting out two half steps, but
it helps you curl easier.
Yeah. You kind of swing underneath the guy like you're on a pole or something like that. So step to the side, foot up, swing. Right around. Now you might not get as tight as you would with the plant version. And it's a little less control, obviously, because I'm swinging underneath the
But
guy.
speed makes up for that. You'll see that when you guys do it. It's a quicker spin in it.
Yeah. Very quick spin under, very easy too. So I think those two things make up for the fact that you have a little bit less control with it. Don't worry so much about like where it goes, okay? You're trying to get the heel up there. So as soon as you take that angle step, boom. And once that's up there, you're going. Tuck, point your shoulder, go right after it. Okay, and then we just finish.
Good. It will shave off a little bit of time. Both work. You'll have one you prefer over the other, but do them both.
And if you happen to have like a knee problem or something in that leg, and you can't bend it so well, this is another
it's a good version. All right, let's give it a try.
Sir.